Hi guys, TotallydubbedHD here, and today I'm doing a video review on the One More Triple Driver BT. Now for those who might be accustomed to the One More brand, you might have come across the Triple Driver wired variant. Now those can be found for around 70 to 80 pounds, whilst the One More Triple Driver BT that I have in front of me can be found for around 120 pounds in the UK, whilst in the US it's just short of $200. Now in this video I'll be comparing it directly to one of my favourite Bluetooth earphones, and that's the Sennheiser Momentum Free that can be found for around £150 and $200 respectively. Links will be down in the description below in case you're interested. So first let's talk about what you get in the box. Now in terms of the overall packaging and accessories, One More have done it again. They've done a great sort of job with a triple driver, quad drivers, and now with the Triple Driver BT. You get a carrying pouch, which might look a bit tacky from the outside, but in all honesty, if it's sitting in your bag or in your pocket, it's not going to be a big deal. You've got a a USB-C, I almost said micro USB, a USB-C to USB-A cable, and it's got a flat line sort of design. It's a very short cable, but is pretty much what you'd expect from Bluetooth earphones. Then you've got a nice selection of tips, and I really love this fact because having the right seal is going to get you the best sort of sound quality on any sort of earphone, no matter it's top of the class £1,500 earphones to £10 earphones. The right tip makes all the difference. So you've got silicone tips and you've got foam tips included. I personally use the silicone tips because it doesn't alter the sound in any way. Foam tips kind of like make the sound a little bit more muddier and a little more bassier, and I'll get into that in just a bit. But anyway, you've got a full selection over here within the box, and I like what they've done with the overall packaging and design. So top class from One More. Now let's get on to the earphones themselves. Now let's talk about the build quality and design, and then of course I'll be talking about the sound quality. Now the earphones, as you might have expected from the picture, are a neckband earphone. In other words, they sit around your neck. If you imagine this is my neck, it sits around my neck, and then you've got the earphones that are free to go wherever they want to go, and obviously you'd probably want them in your ears. Now there is a few things I should mention in terms of the design, that there is no sort of magnetic sort of strip holding these earphones together. And in case you're wondering what that is, well, if you've got like say the Sennheisers around your neck, you can basically have that little magnetic strip holding them together, and it makes it just a little bit better when they're sitting around your neck. Unfortunately, the One More Triple Drivers BTs don't have that, so they're going to be sitting loosely, which does cause a bit of concern, not only in terms of like portability wise, but also in terms of design, because or so to say longevity, because the design of the earphones are very much the same as the normal Triple Driver wired earphones, and therefore the strain relief is very thin on the side of the neckband and also the one that's going into the earphones themselves. So if they were to get snagged, I would worry that after a certain amount of snaggage they'll come loose, and then you'll have the strain relief being pretty much pointless, and then the earphone coming loose. Now that's just my experience from the past, from over 120 other earphones that I've reviewed in the past. It's something that I've noticed with sort of this sort of design. Now the neckband itself is very nice. It's got a nice sort of subtle design. I also like the fact that the sort of neckband can be fully kind of twisted, but this does mean that if I let go, it's gonna kind of bounce back into its shape, which means that it's not as portable or as comfortable to put in your pockets as something like this, because you can just do this and have it in your pocket and not spring out. So bear that in mind. Now obviously this is a bit subjective, as all audio reviews are going to be, but in terms of this, I'm not a big fan of the neckband design, simply because if it's not sitting around your neck, it's going to be a little bit awkward to have it either sitting in your drawers or sitting in your pocket. Now I think that personally One More missed out a trick over here. You've got the left and right indicators all within the inside of the neckband, and you've got it or kind of printed on the side of the One More Triple Driver housing. However, having a blue little band around here and versus a red little band would have been a great little quick indicator. And I love like let's say the Sound Magic E10s that have that. It's just a quick distinction between what's left and right, so you can put it on like a visual cue. Nevertheless, on the left hand side you've got a power button, a volume and play pause. You've got all the media controls that you'd want essentially, and better still, you've got a USB-C port for charging. Now this charging port will charge the earphones in 10 minutes and give you around 180 minutes or 170 minutes of playback time. In other words, that's fast charging capabilities, which is pretty impressive for an earphone. In terms of the overall battery life, however, now one more quote, around 7 hours of music playback or talk time. In my opinion, it was more around 5.5, pushing 6 hours of playback, simply because after I charged them, after only a couple of hours of listening to them, you got a sort of, I got an audio cue saying battery medium. In other words, it already run out to 50% charge, so it's a little bit surprising of how much battery they actually use. Now of course it depends on how you connect them to your earphone, connect them up, or how much you use the controls on the earphones themselves. Nevertheless, I just thought I should share that. So overall, in terms of build quality and design, I've got no massive complaints about it, but I'm just not a massive fan about the neckband design as a whole. If it was one more, Sony, Sennheiser, I couldn't care less who it was. I'm not a big fan of the neckband design, but I know some people love it. So as I said, it's subjective, but it's just something that I thought I should mention, and especially given the fact there's no magnetic points of contact, it means that these earphones can get snagged or like get lost in your massive coat, as an example. But now let's talk about the most important part, is the sound quality. Now before going into the sound quality, I do want to talk about the connection type. And when I say connection type, that's because these earphones, and if the camera can focus, connects via LDAC if you're on Android. If you're on Android 8.0 Oreo or above, you'll have the LDAC codec built into your Android phone, which in this case is the OnePlus 5T. And then you got the LDAC codec, which in other words is the most kind of lossless type of sound you're going to get over Bluetooth. The rate of transmission is absolutely incredible. I think it's 990 kilobytes per second. It's just insane. The amount of data that can be streamed between the two using LDAC is incredible. Now the reason I mention this is because most earphones will only have SBC codec or have aptX. And aptX, for example, the Sennheiser Momentum Frees use them, which transmit at a lower quality than LDAC does. So LDAC in theory, as in on paper, gives you the best quality stream. However, that doesn't mean that the drivers are better or worse. It only means the transmission rate between your phone and the earphones is the highest quality that it could potentially be. So with that in mind, I'm going to talk about the sound quality. Now, I'll go through the sound quality traits of these, and what you'll find is that it's very much in line with the One More triple driver wired version of them. They've got a single dynamic driver housed in each of the earphones and a dual balanced armature driver as well for the mid-range frequencies and the high-end frequencies. What I found that combination meant that I got a very prominent mid-bass slam, a good sub-bass extension, although it does cut off on the lower end of the spectrum. The mids kind of dipped, especially in the lower mid section. I felt that there was a significant sort of dip. The upper mids are a little bit veiled, a little bit pushed back, but are present, so you're going to hear them. And the highs do extend relatively well. They're not sibilant, but they do roll off on the top end, so you're not going to get that crystal quality sort of sound that you're going to get on top class earphones or headphones. Now, how does that compare to the wired version? Well, as I said before, it's pretty much identical. You've got a warmish sound signature, kind of V-shaped sound signature with a prominent mid-bass hit and a nice high extension, even though it's rolled off at the top end. How does that compare to its competitor, such as the Momentum Free? Well, I felt that the Momentum Free has more balanced sound signature. You've got less of a mid-dip, but then you've got less of a mid-bass slam in your face. So it has more, not say straight line sound signature, because it's still V-shaped, still warm sounding, but it's just less so than the One More earphones. So which earphones would I pick in terms of raw sound quality? Well, if you love your bass, you're going to really like the sound of the One More triple driver BT. If, however, you want something that's a little bit more rounded, then the Momentum Free will deliver that sort of sound signature and is a lot better in terms of raw capabilities over the One More triple driver, at least in my opinion. So what I'm trying to say over here is that if I had to pick between the two, regardless of money, I would pick the momentum free. But of course, money is a massive important factor, and as a consumer, I'm purchasing an item and I want to know what's the best value for money. Well, given that in the US they're the identical price and in the UK there's a £30 difference between the two, I would still pick the momentum free. So despite the triple driver being fantastic in terms of its sound, as in for its respective price and its functionalities, I'll still choose the momentum free. That's my personal opinion. So that's just my thoughts and conclusions about it, I would say. Let me know in the comments below what you think is the best sort of wireless earphones, or what you think is the best between the two. Drop a like, subscribe, favorite, and share. Always helps the channel grow. And there we go, guys. I've been Totally Dubbed. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Take care and bye-bye.